Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Small Success Podcast. We're so glad you're with us today. My name's Pam Downing. I'm the Operations and Marketing Strategist here at Larison Media, and I am not alone today. I am here with
Drew Larison, founder and creative director of Larison Media. How's everybody doing?
Great. How are you, Drew?
Dandy. It's 4th of July week when we're recording
I know.
this.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
As we record, we are a day away from July 4th. It's a great week here at the
America,
office.
here we come.
That's right. Okay, you guys, today we are going to talk about something that we are not sure is a smart of your small business. We want to know, does your small business have a set of core values or maybe one core value? We want to talk about why we think that's important. We're going to share some of our core values here at Larison Media and kind of give some tips and tricks on how you can incorporate core values into your marketing and kind of the reason why behind all of those things. So to start out, let's talk about why do we think it's important to even have core values in a small business?
I think core values are important, whether it's small, large,
Sure.
mega, gigantic business in general. And the reason I find a lot of importance in core values is every maybe issue, every problem that comes up maybe inside of a business, these are your tent poles, you know, the things you can always go back to maybe answer questions or solve problems or solve issues that are going on. Well, according to our core values, this is how we react to this. Or according to this core value, this is how we respond to this, or according to this, and it can go on and on. So like, to me, it's really, I mean, the word core is very legitimate in this conversation because it goes, everything that comes up, everything that is wrong, everything that is right should go back to these core values that you and your company and your leadership and your company decided this is how we are going to respond, act, and react to like anything that happens. And this is who we are.
Yeah.
And the why behind this is why we are who we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that tent pole analogy because core values, which is funny because core to me says like inner, like who you are inside of why your small business exists. But on the flip side of that, I also feel like core values help you automatically think bigger picture. Mm-hmm. So I read this recently online and I loved this because it made me think, yes, this is exactly it. So it's something along the lines of Disney isn't about movies. Disney is about magic and the experience that you have. Same with Apple. Like Apple's not necessarily about technology, although we're huge Apple fans here at Larison Media. Apple is about innovation and being better and what's next. So thinking about that, like that high level thinking of what are you really about, you know, in prepping for this, I use the example of donuts. Like if you open a bakery, do you truly exist because you make the best donuts ever? Or do you have kind of bigger picture thinking? Maybe who you are at your core is really to be a bright spot in your community and serve your neighbors and build those relationships. I don't know, whatever it is, but that's a great way to approach the core value is to think about you exist for a reason, but why do you actually exist? And with that tent pole analogy, you know, that's something you can always come back to if things get off the rails. Mm-hmm. Or you get, maybe it's not even a bad thing. Maybe you're just really bogged down in an awesome project that you're rocking out. And during those busy days or during those mundane days, you can reflect back on those core values and remember why you're doing what you're doing. Why does your small business exist?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, exactly what you said, but a lot of it to me is it's the bigger reason of who you are compared to like what you do.
Sure.
You know, and donut analogy, sure. Like one of their core values could just be like quality in general. And like, no matter what they're making donut wise, if their core value, like we use extreme quality because our customers deserve it. Mm-hmm. And the reason behind that is because they respect their customers and they appreciate their customers, you know, a lot. So you're not just going to use horrible ingredients just to sell something because you respect those customers enough. One of our core values is we use quality, everything we do.
You know what this conversation is sparking? Yeah. Well, other than the fact that we really want a donut, but I'm thinking now about some of my favorite local small businesses, and I'm really curious to know what their core values are.
I think it's in it. I could be wrong, but I deal with small businesses for quite a long time now. A lot. I don't think a lot have them. And
Yeah.
it goes back to, I think, especially small business world, the small business owner is so stinking busy trying to actually do what has to be done that to find the headspace to think, all right, who are we outside of what we actually do? Like, who do we want to be, or what do we want to be known for? Minus not just our donuts, but like as people inside of this organization. Like, that's deep thinking.
Yeah, it
like
is.
that, and it takes an intentional time to actually have that thought. I mean, literally, don't tell the people at my church this leadership, but like our core values straight came when I was sitting in church during the sermon that was happening. Because, and I'm guilty of this so many times, but like being in church, it's quiet. No one's talking. I don't have kids screaming in my ear. I'm not at the office worrying about everything at the office
Sure.
or like everything like that. Sitting in that church like became my time, and like my head just started going deep
Sure.
thinking about Larison Media. So literally I wrote on my phone on like a note, started writing like the core values of Larison Media in the middle of a church service. So that was my time that I found to think like deeper about Larison Media, like who we want to be known as specifically through like core value wise. But it's hard. It's hard to find that time to have that deep thinking session and to, be in the headspace to come up with that. So, I mean, it's sad, but I don't think a lot of small businesses have it. And I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Sure.
But in my head, that there's not a lot that do.
Yeah, that's a great point. And another thing about, that's just a practical thing, is setting aside as a small business owner, where do I have 2 or 3 hours in my week to set aside? Many don't. Another thing about figuring out core values is it's hard. I feel like that can be really intimidating, especially if you are kind of head down, grinding it out on the daily, doing the good work that you do. Not only do you not have the time, but it can be really intimidating and a little bit overwhelming. So my encouragement there would be, don't do it alone.
Yeah.
You may be the sole owner of your small business, but you're not doing it alone. You have someone in your corner cheering you on.
And if you don't, we can be that person.
That's right. If you
That's
don't,
why
we
we're
can be
here.
that person. You're not alone. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's a partner. Maybe it's a significant other or a best friend or your favorite high school teacher. There's someone in your life who's in your corner. And as Drew said, that could be us.
Yeah. And for me, it was my wife.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not making this church situation up. We got out of church, got into the car, and I just handed Aaron my phone, and I said, "Hey, read this." And very me, I didn't give details. I'm just like, "Hey, read this." And it was like the list of the 4 core values that are our core values today.
Yeah.
With like a solid paragraph underneath explaining each one. And like immediately she's like, "This is really good." Like gave me some feedback. And we went from there. But like Aaron is that person for me that I immediately go to. Like, here's what, hey, thoughts on this? I had like this crazy wild idea. Thoughts on this? I mean, some of the times she's like, "That's horrible. Don't do it." And my personality, I go ahead and do it anyway, and then probably learn that she was right later. But my wife is that person for me. I hand her my phone, and immediately the notes that I was taking in church, not on the topic of church, but through other time.
Sure.
And yeah, so she helped me there.
Yeah. And, Aaron is a great example. A spouse is a great example of someone who will give you honest feedback, critique when appropriate, encouragement when appropriate. But if core values feel like something that's really intimidating and it's too big, and
It's a deep thing.
it is a deep thing, but I feel like someone who knows you well, who's observed you as a business owner over the years or months or days, whatever it may be, they have a perspective that could be valuable in thinking about core values, especially if you're at that place where you're like, "Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start." I'm a good person. Let's start there. Someone who can offer an outside perspective can kind of speak some truth into you and say, "Hey, I've noticed that in your business, you approach things this way." Going back to our donut example with the quality thing, you may not even identify that as a core value of yours, but someone who's watched you grow and have success along the way and have failures along the way may be able to point out like, "Hey, have you ever thought about the reason why you have done X, Y, and Z is because of quality.
Yeah.
So
Well, like, but before I mean, let's just go through ours, because there's probably people listening that have no idea even what
Sure.
we're talking about. Like,
here's some examples.
what even is a core value? Are you talking about like a company handbook? Or like they're probably confused on that whole idea. So we can go through, I guess, just Larison Media's core values really quick and just show you an example of what ours look like that maybe it could be like for yours. So our first one is initiative.
Right.
That is our number one core value. And I like this idea a lot. We say initiative is a core value. We take initiative every single day. That's our first core value. And to me, this is like that classic, our team is made up of go-getters. Our team is made up of figure-it-outers. And this is really important, not only internally, but externally for the work that we do. We help small businesses with marketing. So small businesses come to us with questions about a topic they don't understand. And I mean, in the world of digital marketing, there's not anyone that knows everything because it's constantly changing, it's constantly evolving and updating. But so let's say a client comes to us with a question that we need to figure out. Instead of just having the attitude of, oh, I don't know, we don't really do that, or that's new, I don't really know. Like, I want our team to, when a question comes up or a task that comes up that we don't really fully know yet, I want them to have the attitude and initiative of like, we don't know, we're gonna know, we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna like knock it out of the park. That's initiative to me, and like that's why that's really important to me, that we have that attitude, because when you show initiative, and this goes for any type of like customer service, but like if you show initiative, your customers, your clients, patients, however you label you people that pay you money, they appreciate that so much, because that's kind of what they're paying you for. They're paying you to be initiative people and to take initiative on problems that come up, not just like wallow around and not know the answer, or maybe push it on to somebody else.
Sure.
Like initiative. That was me snapping. There you go. That's really important. That's why in my head, that's our first one.
Yep. So our second one is ownership.
Ownership's really important to me. My professional experience, I think there's either people that get this naturally, or there's people that struggle with it. But ownership, I believe what we say is we own our mistakes and our failures with a natural desire to celebrate or repair. That's what it is. So ownership is really important to me. It comes up more, probably it shouldn't, but it probably does. It comes up more in the conversation of when you screw up. Sure. I don't know about your guys' businesses that you're listening, but ours are made up of humans, and humans are not perfect. We make errors. So I have unbelievable amounts of patience for errors. I really do. Probably to a fault sometimes. I have so much patience for people screwing up, because I understand you're human. I screw up. It happens. But what's really important to me when an error happens is that you own up to it. You say, yep, that was on me. I missed the mark. I did not get that done. Here's what I'm going to do in the future to fix it, and then move on. But like one of the most unattractive things to me working with someone professionally is when they screw up and they immediately start to blame somebody else.
Yeah.
They try to pass the buck to somebody, or they blame it on something that in no way was the problem, but anything they can blame it on except for what they actually did in the moment. One of the most unattractive things to me in the world. But vice versa, one of the most attractive things is someone that recognizes their error, realizes what they did to screw up, but they're fixing it. They have like, and I think what we say is like a natural response to repair. Like, I want to fix it. I realized I screwed up. I want to fix it right away. Let's get this done so it never happens again. One of the most attractive things in the world to me. Yeah. But at the same time, we want to do that with wins too. If something great happens, we run a campaign for a client and it's really successful, I want us to like naturally have this desire to celebrate, with one another. We have like a fun tradition. Every time we sign a new client, we pop a bottle of champagne, and it's fun. We have that natural desire to celebrate that moment. Something I think we should be doing more is every time a client renews with us, we should be popping champagne too, because that's a big win. But just small things, celebrating small things from, hey, that graphic you made, awesome, great idea, celebrate that. But ownership of owning your failures, but also your successes is a big thing to me.
Yeah, we have blogs on each of these core values that we've broken down, but something I remember when writing the ownership blog, everything you've said, Drew, 100%. But also, I walked through kind of the shift in your mindset when you have that ownership approach and that ownership mentality to literally every area of your job, including like if you walk back to the kitchen to get a glass of water and you notice trash on the floor, what would an owner do? You reach down and pick up the trash. So professionally, having ownership of the successes and the failures, 100%, but also just having ownership in the way that you approach being a team member. Sure. Not feeling like, well, that person is the boss and these people are the employees and we just do everything that the boss says. But feeling like you have skin in the game and you have ownership in being a part of the team and really stepping into the role that you serve in, but also thinking like an owner and finding ways to get better or to grow or just that forward moving thinking.
Yeah. Which you just dropped. The third one, actually.
I am laughing because I was about to say, this sounds really cheesy. But speaking of better, let's talk about our third core value.
That was totally intentional, what you just did. Totally, it was on purpose. We're reading off a script. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, our third core value is better. And sidebar, we had a conversation with staff. I asked them a bunch of their favorite things. Some of them were really silly. Some of them were a little bit more deep. But one of the things I asked our team was, which of our core values is your favorite? And this third core value is popular amongst the staff.
That's a big one.
This was our favorite.
It's a big one. Yeah. So the core value of better, always wanting better for our clients, our team, and ourselves. That's our core value. And it's really important to me that I put in, I think at first when I wrote this, I put just our clients, always wanting better for our clients. But then I threw in the whole for our team and also ourselves in there as well. So for the client realm, let's say we're doing marketing for a client. It's going okay. Client's happy. I hate the idea of just being comfortable with like the success of our clients. I love the idea of we're always wanting more. We're always wanting, no matter how great the client thinks we're doing, how could we make that even better?
Yeah.
That's huge to me. And the client can see that and appreciate that as well. So that's kind of on the client side. We're always wanting better. We're never okay. I shouldn't say okay. We're never completely satisfied with where we're at with a client, no matter if they're extremely happy with us or not. We always want to push that and do better for our clients. And then obviously the second one is for our team. We always want better for our team.
Yeah.
I think we have, and I've been told this, I think maybe in another podcast or something like that, our team has said one of the things they love about working in our office is that we are an actual team, and like that team attitude naturally happens. I know, Pam, when you started, you just had like basic questions and like you had no issue going to anybody, whether it was me or somebody else. Hey, how do you do this? And whatever it is, people will drop what they're doing and they'll show you how to do it in a great way. Or, hey, I'm having this issue with this client. Great. Get together and we're going to help, our team be better in that moment.
Yeah. And
that's a huge thing for me because our office, and this is what we talked about, our office is set up in a way where the majority of the team is in like an open office space. There's not like walls going on where they're at. And that helps a lot. That helps out a lot, I think, with that attitude of like teamwork and always wanting better. Because if you have a question, you literally just turn around and the person's right there. And then like naturally, I think the whole area of the office just starts talking, communicating together to help out that other person at that team. And I think this goes on with work stuff. I think this goes on with personal stuff as well.
Sure.
Just we're always there, for our team. If you need something, if you have a question about something, or you're struggling with something professionally or personally, we're there for you because we naturally desire better for you and everybody on our team.
Yeah. Hashtag better together.
Hashtag better together.
I mean, and honestly, for your small business, this core value, really, I bet we could trace some lines back to the birth of the Small Success Podcast.
Sure.
We don't have a scarcity mentality of like, oh, there's only a little bit to go around and we got to go after and get it. Like, we want to have an abundance mentality of like, there is so much opportunity, whatever industry you're in. And this podcast exists to help small businesses get better. Our hope is that we're sharing tips and tricks, and you're listening to interviews from other small business owners, and that we can kind of link arms and move forward and get better together. And I bet if you look at the history of your small business, I mean, maybe you started before computers or credit cards, and you only took cash, and the thought of taking credit cards or incorporating anything that was digital to your business felt really intimidating. Well, look at you today. You're better. No matter how long you've been in existence. So to personalize it, that is a popular vote around here, is our favorite core value. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite.
You said something too that reminded me, it was in my wedding, or it was in Erin's wedding vows. That she said she was going through all the great things about me, the why she decided to marry me.
Yes.
But
Enneagram 3 moment.
Yes. But one of them specifically, like, it stuck out to me, and probably is an influence of why better is a core value of ours. She said, something I really love about your head is that you're so curious. You have such a curious head. You always want to be learning something. And I think the example in her wedding vows was something like, we were cooking one night, or we were trying to figure out what to do for dinner. And you're like, I've always wanted to learn how to make a chimichurri sauce. And Erin's like, where did you come? But it was so random, but that's your head. You're always wanting to learn something. You're always wanting to, and what you were talking about, just always getting better, that whole, never stop learning. You never know everything.
Right.
There's always something else out there that you can learn to better yourself as a person, a professional, or a business. And that's just a great mindset to have, I think. And that goes into that better core value as well.
For sure. Okay, so our fourth and final core value, and my personal favorite core value is...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, is confidence. And here at Literacy Media, kind of our tagline on that is that we do what others say we can't.
Yeah. Which, if there's anybody, I full disclosure, did not come up with that on my own. The whole do what others say you can't. Yeah. There's an amazing internet creator. He had an HBO show in the 90s, but now he's full internet, named Casey Neistat. And he actually ran a marketing campaign with Samsung. And that was the tagline for the whole campaign, was do what others say you can't. And I loved it, because Samsung's angle was, with our products, you don't have to, the idea to be a creator, society tells you have to go to film school, you have to go to NYU, you have to have all this institutionalized education type of stuff to be an actual really good creator. Sam's like, here's a phone, go create something. Do what other people say you can't as a creator. But that could be translated to anybody, just always having that underdog attitude. I think I've told that to our team a few times in the past. I don't care if we grow Literacy Media, we are a 5,000 person company. We are dominating the world in our industry. I love the idea that we always have the attitude of an underdog, and that we are always looking at people are saying we can't do it. Let's go out there and do it. And having that confidence is a really cool thing to me.
Yeah. And, in the small business world, chances are you have a competitor or someone else in your industry. Maybe you're the only one in your town, but likely there are other people doing the same type of work that you are doing. They may do it in a different way. Their style may be different. Same for us. We are not the only digital marketing agency that exists. There's others out there that are awesome. We have so much respect for them. We can learn from them and share together, but having confidence as our core value, especially for our team, and thinking through what can we do that could set us apart a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, sure, we're doing very similar things, but having confidence in our work, having that better kind of undergirding and driving everything we do, to me, that's a difference. And in the way our team functions, and having confidence, being better together, that idea of kind of the lifelong learner and sharing things, that gives you confidence. Being a part of a team that functions that way, not feeling like, oh, I have to do everything myself. I feel intimidated to ask this question because I don't know what my coworker. No, we don't have that here. Empowering each other and becoming better together, to me, naturally leads in to this confidence.
Yeah. And I heard somebody say the other day, there's another level of this. I think it was Anne Marie. She said, I love the idea of confidence as a core value in the way that if we show confidence when communicating with our clients, it's huge for that, client to see that.
Right.
We have the confidence, like, hey, whatever is going on, whatever this issue is, whatever you want to be doing better with your marketing, we are confident we're the team to make it happen for you.
Right.
And that means so much for that client, but 100% what you were just saying, all the other three lead up to this, in my opinion, because the client, if we're not confident, it's hard to take initiative on things, or have a great attitude, but if you're not confident, it's hard to have the attitude of like, can we do better? Mm-hmm. Or is this it? Or if you're not confident, it's hard to own up to something because you're not confident in that, failure you're owning up to, because you don't know how to fix it. You don't know how to fix a failure you might have had. Or if you're not confident, how you're going to celebrate a win, because like, was it really a win?
Mm-hmm.
So like all the three lead up to that fourth. And I think that was intentional why I put them in that order, but it's hard to do those first three if you're not confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in our world of client services, your world may be customer service, maybe it's patient service, but whoever you're serving, when you have confidence, to me, as a consumer, if I'm coming to you, that's reassuring to me.
Yeah.
Kind of that, I feel like this word is really popular right now, but like having some swag about you. If
Sure.
I'm coming and spending money somewhere, I want to know that my money's well spent with an expert or someone who's going to do a great job.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to medical services. I feel
100%.
this way. I want a doctor who's confident. Who knows what
there's
they're doing.
There's some TV ad. There's a family in a hospital room, and like the doctor's not in there yet, so they're talking to the nurse. And I was like, "Oh, so have you met Dr. So and so?" And the nurse responds like, "Yeah, he's okay."
Yeah, I know.
Who wants that? In any experience with like a business. Wait, just okay? This guy's about to like cut me open and fix me. But the same thing. If you're getting a roof done, over the roofing service comes up to your house and said, "I think we can do this." Yeah. Or a restaurant, their chef is back there, is like, "Hope you like it," and cautiously hands you the plate of food that you ordered. Confidence is huge, and I'm not saying it should be fake confidence, but I feel like, especially in our world, if you get those first three, you build a lot of confidence in yourself. So, but confidence is just huge for everybody.
For sure.
You imagine like going to the dentist and like he's like revving up his drill. He's like, "Well, we'll see if this works."
I don't know.
I don't want to see.
I want to go with our example of the day, the donuts. I want a confident donut maker.
Yeah.
Baker. It's the right term.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. So to wrap up our four core values: initiative, ownership, better, and confidence. Those are examples of our core values here at Larison Media. Maybe our first ever podcast challenge. Even if you don't put them down and carve them in stone, we would challenge you as a small business owner. Do some reflecting. Maybe it's just in your drive home today. Think about why you exist, who you are as a small business, and what could be some potential core values. Really feel like doing even a small session of that kind of higher level thinking will really benefit you in the long run. It'll benefit your business. It'll benefit your customers or clients or patients, whoever it is that you serve. We would love to help you think through this. We have some blogs on this over at larisonmedia.com. Obviously, you've just heard our four. We'd love to help you think through that. We exist to help small business owners. So, Drew, any final thoughts for today?
I guess one last thought idea, because helping you, if you're listening to this and you don't have core values, a place to start to even begin this deeper thought process of who your business is outside of what you actually do. If your business is going well and like it's in a rhythm, you're in a rhythm, you have core values. You just probably don't realize they're there yet. So talk to employees. Take a day where you just really watch people do what they do. Mm-hmm. You'll find those core values, specifically. So they're there. But like I was saying a little bit ago, you just have to take that intentional time to look for them, think about them, and give real meaning. Because what you're going to find, there's been stuff, in our business where an issue comes up and I've literally responded multiple times to an employee, what would our core values say? Mm-hmm. Like, how do we solve this? What if you look at our core values, how do we solve this problem? And they don't even respond. They get it and they walk away.
Yeah.
You know, but also, so when you find those core values, the pitch, the vision casting, whatever fun buzzword you'd like to use, explaining these to your employees, that's a big moment, and don't overlook it. I don't think I did a great job when I first explained them, because I was so pumped in my head that I actually did it, that I didn't give thought to the actual explaining to the team what they are and why they are. So, I mean, that should be an intentional moment, explaining here they are and here why they are what they are, you know, type of moment. So don't overlook that. That's a big thing, because you're really selling to your employees, here's how we are and why we are how we are. And if they get it, it's a big moment. So just don't overlook that moment.
Yeah. That's great advice.
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks for listening today, guys. We are so glad you were with us. We would love it if you would take a screenshot and share this on your social media, tag us, send this to a friend who's a small business owner who may find some of these core value tips and tricks useful. As always, you can find more info over at larisamedia.com. We have a whole blog built out over there. Take a look at the show notes underneath this podcast for more info and direct links. So glad you joined us today. We'll see you next time.